Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to today's webinar on how to troubleshoot customer issues with less back and forth. Before we get started, let's do a quick sound check. If you have joined through your phone, I would recommend you to switch to the computer because we've seen few issues while connecting from phone. And if you still can't hear me, please try restarting GoToWebinar Viewer. Or if you have other audio or video problems, don't worry. We will send you a link to the recording soon after the webinar. And if you have any questions during the webinar, please submit them using the questions section in the GoToWebinar viewer. Experts from our team will answer your questions, or I can take them up at the end. Finally, we are all working from home and we apologize in advance for any inconvenience caused because of network connectivity or any other issues. In case I get disconnected, one of my colleagues will take over. And I'm your host for today. My name is Nishal Reddy. I work as a product manager for Fiddler at Progress. I lead new growth initiatives at Progress and have experience working in different product functions like engineering and product management. And in my free time, I like to travel. While traveling, I love to explore new local cuisines. And just a disclaimer before we get started with the webinar. In this webinar, I'll be showing you a pre-release software which could potentially change by the time it is released. So with that said, let's see the agenda for today's webinar. So we will first start by looking at the process for debugging customer issues and touch upon the problems that customers, support, and development teams face in solving these issues. Then I will walk you through how Fiddler and its ecosystem of products can help streamline the troubleshooting process. And finally, I'll walk you through a demo on how you can leverage Fiddler ecosystem in your support and development workflow. So let's start by looking at the life cycle of debugging customer issues. So the lifecycle of debugging customer issues starts by customer reporting an issue. And customer typically reports an issue in support channel by providing reproducible steps and probably log files if they are available. And then support tries to troubleshoot the issue by analyzing the logs, reproducible steps, and then they will try to provide their findings and more context to the development teams, who then will find the root cause and will try to fix it. But it is not always straightforward. In fact, most of the times, the troubleshooting or debugging customer issues is hard. So let's look at main reasons as to why it is hard to debug customer issues. First up, for customers, it is painstaking and frustrating process to file tickets and provide a clear, reproducible steps, logs, and even after providing all that information, they might end up doing more back and forth with the support team to provide more context and details. And for support, they often don't have necessary information to reproduce the issue and troubleshoot it. They don't have the right environment and the variables to recreate the exact circumstances to simulate the issue, because of which they might end up doing a lot of follow-up through emails, screen sharing sessions to troubleshoot the issue. They end up spending a lot of time in back and forth than actually debugging the issue at hand. Finally, for development teams, the context to the issue is spread across different channels like support system, logs, email, call transcripts, so on and so forth. Moreover, there is no common tool chain for development and support teams to collaborate and fix the issue. So the two main issues in the whole process is that there is a lot of back and forth between customers and support teams, and there is no common tool chain for the whole process, which results in poor collaboration and productivity. So this in turn leads to reduced productivity of the support and development teams. And more importantly, it provides a more frustrating customer experience. And finally, it results in increased support costs and resolution times. So the key to optimizing the support process is to reduce the back and forth between customer and support teams and increasing the collaboration and productivity of support and development teams. So the back and forth can be reduced by empowering user to submit logs in a self-service way with less to no intervention from support team. This would make the first step more seamless and with less hops. And then the key to increasing collaboration and productivity is to embrace a common tool chain across teams and processes. But in order to do these, we need a common tool chain and products that solve both problems in a seamless way. This is where Fiddler and its ecosystem of products can help streamline the whole process. But first, let's start with a brief history of Fiddler. The first version of Fiddler was released in 2003, and for the next decade, it was the most popular and de facto web proxy tool. And I can't stress enough on how Eric Lawrence has built a great tool and, most importantly, a great community around Fiddler over the next decade. And then Telerik acquired Fiddler in 2012, and it continued to offer Fiddler through its portfolio of products. And in 2014, Progress acquired Telerik, and along with it, all the products and offerings of Telerik. And since then, Fiddler team has been adding features and has been doing regular releases. And in 2019, we released the first version of Fiddler Everywhere, which supported Windows, Mac, and Linux. And then in late 2019, we've been working on completely revamping Fiddler Everywhere, and we've been reaching out to our users for feedback and to understand how our users are using Fiddler and to understand how we can improve Fiddler better. And the feedback has been phenomenal so far and very interesting. And I'm very happy to announce that we have recently made a public beta release. So if you have not tried Fiddler Everywhere before, I highly recommend you to download and try it. You can easily find it by Googling, or you can visit telerik.com/fiddler website to download the latest version of Fiddler Everywhere. And this is the brief overview of Fiddler ecosystem of products. So first we have the web debug proxy tools, which are Fiddler Everywhere and Fiddler Classic. Fiddler Classic is the original Fiddler tool that is very functional and has seen the test of time. And Fiddler Everywhere is the new tool that is built from ground up to support all major platforms and with collaboration in mind. And then the next product is Fiddler Jam, which is a troubleshooting solution for support and development teams. And then Fiddler Core is an embeddable .NET library which can be used to embed Fiddler Core library inside your application. And finally, we have other host of tools and extensions available, some of which were built in-house and some of them were built by our awesome community. In the suite of products, Fiddler Jam and Fiddler Everywhere are specifically used for troubleshooting customer issues. And I will walk you in detail on how you can leverage them to streamline your support workflow and processes. So first, let's have a look at Fiddler Everywhere. So Fiddler Everywhere is a web debug proxy tool that is used for development and debugging of applications and websites. It is used for a host of use cases like web debugging, API development, mocking APIs, performance testing, so on and so forth. Fiddler Everywhere is integrated well with other ecosystem of products, including Fiddler Jam, to provide a seamless experience and a single tool chain for the whole lifecycle. And then Fiddler Jam is a troubleshooting solution for support and development teams that helps in troubleshooting customer issues in a fast, easy, and secure way. It helps in simplifying and standardizing the whole process by letting customers submit logs in a self-service way and then providing a single tool chain for support and development teams to gather and analyze logs. So let's see what are the different components in Fiddler Jam. So these are the three main components in Fiddler Jam. The first is Chrome extension, which can be used to submit logs, and then the web dashboard that can be used to view and analyze the submitted logs. And finally, you can use Fiddler Everywhere to perform any in-depth analysis or testing. So now with Fiddler Jam, customers can submit logs using a simple Chrome extension, and support users can view and analyze logs on a web dashboard. They can add more context about their analysis using comments. And then finally, they can hand over these logs to developers, and developers can use Fiddler Everywhere to perform in-depth analysis and can also look at all the comments and context that the support team has added and collaborate with them with a single tool chain. Now let's look at each component in detail. First is the Chrome extension. So customers can use the Chrome extension to submit logs in a self-service way. So now they no longer have to depend on uh, support team to provide them instructions on how to provide them the reproducible steps. They will be able to record the logs by themselves using the simple Chrome extension. And the Chrome extension itself is simple and lightweight, and it also has a capability to capture screenshots on clicks so that it provides more contextual information about when an issue has occurred. And sharing logs is seamless, and it'll as soon as user submits any logs, they will be uploaded to a cloud storage and will generate a unique URL, which reduces the hassle of manually attaching the logs to the email or the support ticket. It also provides password protection to provide added layer of security. So now let's look at how it works. So for customers, it works with three simple steps. So the first step is to add the Chrome extension to their browser, and after they add it, they'll be able to start recording the logs. So once they start capturing traffic, they can reproduce the issue so that it captures only the exact logs for the instance where the issue is reproducible. So with that, we'll be reducing the overall amount of logs that are being generated and that needs to be analyzed. And then the final step is to stop capturing and then share the URL with the support team. So once customer submits the logs, he can then share the URL with the support team, and he can share the URL through email or add it to the support ticket or through any other channel. Now, support can open the URL in the browser where they can view and analyze the logs in the web dashboard. Apart from analyzing the logs, they can also add more context through comments and collaborate with their team. They can further share the URL with the development teams or automatically create issues in ticketing systems. Developers can then open the logs in the dashboard where they can analyze the logs and look at the comments the support added, or collaborate with them by adding more comments and creating a discussion out of it. But they also have an option to open the log file in Fiddler Everywhere to do any in-depth analysis. And after they open it in Fiddler Everywhere, all the comments that were added before will be available so that they can access all the context and also collaborate with the team, hence creating a single tool chain and seamless experience for the whole lifecycle. So with Fiddler Jam, we can go from the current state with a lot of back and forth and poor collaboration and low productivity to a process where customers are empowered to submit logs in a self-service way and using a unified tool chain to capture logs at customer environment and troubleshoot and collaborate with their whole team. All right, now let's look at a demo to see how the whole solution works from end to end. In this demo, I will walk you through all the three components of Fiddler Jam with a small example. So let's get started with the demo. For this demo, I'll be using a simple to-do app through which customers can create to-do lists and store them on cloud storage. The app itself is pretty simple. You can just enter the items and click on submit to add them to the list. When a user submits a to-do item, it will make a REST call and store the item in a cloud storage. Now let's see what happens when user tries to add a to-do item. Let's add an item. Let's say buy milk and click on submit. So we are not able to add item to the list and it is giving us an error saying the item cannot be added. So now we can use Fiddler Jam Chrome extension to record the logs while reproducing the issue and submit it to the support team. Let's see how we can do it. I already have the extension installed on my browser, so I will open it by clicking on the icon. And the extension itself is pretty minimal to let users record and submit issues easily. Let's look at the options real quick. Users can click on Start Capture to start the log capture, and then he can reproduce the issue at hand and click on Stop Capture to stop the log capture. There is also an option to capture screenshots on clicks so that every time user performs a click, a screenshot will be captured. This provides more context around what did the UI look like when the issue occurred, or to understand which UI component did the user interact with when the issue occurred. So let's turn on capture screenshots and start recording. Now that the recording has started, we can reproduce the issue by trying to enter few to-do items. Let's add an item to buy milk. Interestingly, the item got added successfully. Now let's try to add another item to buy bread. Okay, now it has failed to add item to the list. Since we have recorded the logs with reproducible, now let's stop the capture and share the log file. Once you click on stop, you will have an option to look at the details captured by clicking on see details. Here we have around 40 HTTP requests and responses that were captured. You can look at the details if needed. So let's hide the details for now. We also have options to directly share, save them in a local disk, or clear the capture to restart it again. Let's click on Share Captured Sessions to share the captured log files. We will also have an option to set password protection, which will encrypt the log file with the given password. Just in case if you are worried about the sensitive information, you can use password protection as an added layer of security. You can also optionally enter your email ID, which will send you the copy of the link, just in case you lose it. Now let's enter password, email ID, and description. Now we can submit the logs. When you submit the logs, they will be encrypted with the provided password and then uploaded into the cloud storage. And as soon as it is uploaded to a cloud storage, a unique URL will be generated that can be shared with support either through email or in support ticket. So here it has generated a unique URL. Let's copy it and share it with the support team. Now we can share the recorded logs with the support team. Support team can open the URL in the browser, which will take them to the web dashboard. Let's open the URL in browser. Customer can securely share the password with support either through email or through any other channel. So let's enter the password here. And once the password is entered, the log file will be loaded. Here you go. The log file will contain all the requests and response that were captured while reproducing the issue. This section on the left lists all the request URLs that were sent by the web app. And the right section contains request and response headers to see what data was sent to the server and the response the server sent. Here you can see that a request to submit to do item endpoint seemed to have failed. Let's click on that request to see the details. So here in the response headers, we can clearly see that a server internal error seemed to have occurred, which could have caused the issue. We can also look at the screenshot that was captured when the submit button was clicked. This gives a clear picture of the state of the UI when issue occurred. We can clearly see that the issue occurred when user tried to enter buy bread to do item. Now, support team can also add any comments to add more context to the development team. In this case, support will add a comment on the request that failed, describing the details about the issue. This will also add a subtle visual marker on the request to indicate that a comment was added. Now that the support team has done some preliminary analysis and added a comment about their findings, they can then forward the log to the development team by simply sharing them the URL. Development team can now analyze the log directly on the web portal. So let's see the screenshot that was captured when the error occurred. So let's click on the item here. Now let's open the request that failed. We can look at the response headers to see why the request failed. We can also look at any comments that were added by the support team. We can further open the captured logs in Fiddler Everywhere standalone tool to do any further analysis, like replaying the captured sessions to test the behavior of the API with the exact parameters that were used when the request failed. Similarly, we can also create autoresponder rules to mock the responses to simulate the issues that the customer might have experienced. Delving into the details of these topics is out of the context of this webinar. We will probably do a dedicated webinar soon to cover these topics. So with this, I'm done with the demo. And in this demo, we have covered all three components, starting from how you can use a Chrome extension to capture logs in customer environment. So the customers can use it in a self-service way to easily capture and share the log files with the support team. And then we've also seen how support teams can use the web dashboard to view and analyze the logs and probably add comments to provide more context to the development team. And then development team then can take over and then do any further analysis either directly on the web dashboard, or they can open the Fiddler standalone tool to do in-depth analysis. So with this, I'm done with the demo. Let's switch back to the slides. All right, now let's look at why and how can Fiddler Jam help. For end customers, it provides a seamless experience to submit logs in a self-service way. It reduces the friction for your customers and removes the barrier to submit logs in 3 simple steps. For support teams, it reduces the back and forth so that they can concentrate more on troubleshooting the issue than following up with the customers, resulting in shorter issue resolution time. And finally, for developers, it can help them analyze the logs with all the context in one single place and help them adopt a single tool chain to collaborate with support team, increasing the productivity, resulting in shorter turnaround times. And currently Fiddler Jam is in closed beta state. So if you are interested to leverage the solution in your workflow, we have created an early access program so that you can try this solution in your environment before anyone else can. And this is how the early access program or the pilot program works. You can express your interest to participate by visiting the Fiddler Jam website. You can find the link to the website in the chat. And once you visit the website, you can fill the pilot program form to express your interest to join this pilot program. And after you fill the form, someone from our team will reach out to you to discuss the next steps. And you will also have an option to work with our solution architecture team to implement the solution in your environment. You can then test the solution before taking it live. We still have a few slots open for the pilot program. So if you want to try Fiddler Jam before anyone else, visit the Fiddler Jam website and fill the form to join the program.